Greetings and blessings, everyone. This is James Thomas from FNQ Spiritual Group. Our other host, James Russell, is out and about. He's in Singapore at the moment on a holiday with his partner. And so today we've got the lovely Chris Marshall from uh, Napier, New Zealand, who's joining us and is going to co-host not only today, but for the next couple of weeks. Today, we're going to have a discussion on the heart and the importance of the heart. What do you find to be the most important aspect of the heart?
The heart is the center of everything. So if you think of it in terms of physical and the energy centers of the body, the heart is in the middle. And there's a reason why it's the largest center of all the energy centers. It is basically the control room, if you like, for all the others. Everything, all the other centers require the heart center in everything that they do. It takes the lead in everything. It's the connection that we have to the earth. It's the connection that we have to spirit as well. And it flows through each of those heart centers in both directions. So for me, the heart center is the key. It's in the driving seat for everything.
You know, for myself, the heart is the most important because within every living thing is what's termed the divine spark. So it's like, and Gideon will go into this more, and there's actually a book that I channeled called Gideon, available on Amazon under the author's name of James Thomas, which is myself, of course. And it's about the very beginning of Project Earth. But what ends up happening is when you have like a native human population on a planet, and in order for them to be able to move forward and evolve, they have to have a soul. And so the divine spark is placed within their heart center, and that is what creates the soul, because contained within the divine spark is a small piece of source energy, and that source energy is a creation energy. But that's also the point where we connect to all that is. And so for the guys upstairs like El Sharon, Gideon, Simeon, Sananda, all of these different beings, they always say, follow your heart and guidance. Trust your discernment, what you feel. Now, to give you an example of what you feel, if you've ever been in love, and I know you have, I know I have, is when you're in love with someone, is that a mind thing or a heart thing?
Oh, absolutely heart. I mean,
How many
it
people have done such stupid, crazy stuff and said, well, I did it because I'm in love? So it's like the mind goes out of it. So it's like there's a passage in the New Testament in the Bible that says, and Jesus says, the greatest thing is love. So when I reflect on that statement, for me it's very obvious that one of the tools that star seeds have been given is to follow your heart and guidance, because if the heart is where there's the divine spark resides, that's our connection to all that is. That would also have the connection of what we've planned for our lives. So we have to follow what our heart says. And discernment, of course, we go by feeling. So does it feel right? Does it feel wrong? It's a very interesting situation. You can actually get to a point where you can look at someone and feel their energy.
Mm.
Sometimes it's a little confusing, sometimes not, but I'll give you an example. My wife Janice and I, we enjoy watching reality TV. I don't enjoy all the programs she does. Like, I'm not a massive fan of Married at First Sight because the way they set it up, it's like they'll do it really well for one or two people, and the rest is all about drama, building drama and stuff.
Mm.
But we've been watching Australian Idol, and one of the contestants, she seems like a very nice young lady. She's been really working very hard um, to improve herself, and she has a real passion for singing and everything. She's not a bad singer, but it's like she comes on the screen and Janice and I both recoil.
Mm.
Her energy is very dark. There's a lot of ego there.
But I think we've all come across people like that. There are people that we're drawn to and those that repel us. And that's why
Very
there are
true.
times through obligation or might be for work or whatever where you're obliged or you have to go and meet people and socialize, but you're not enjoying yourself. You don't open. So it's that heart, it's that energy that you're picking up on. So their energy is trying to almost overwhelm you, but it's
Hmm.
not a sharing. It's not an equal sharing at all. And that's why the heart center for me is so central to everything that I do. So not only is it in the middle of my physical body, it's also in the middle and also to the front of my spiritual life. Because everything I do now is about how do I feel about that? Does it resonate? Is this really what I should be doing? Is
So
this
let
what
me
I
let me
need to
ask you
be
let me
doing?
ask you a question,
Sure.
because it's like every single one of us, every star seed that I've ever come across has gone through a lot of crap. Some
Mm.
have been through abuse, neglect, whatever. How long did it take for you to realize that the best way of moving forward in this life was to follow your heart? And what
Oh, it
what
wasn't.
was it that gave that indication to you that you needed to follow your heart?
It came to me later in life because I spent my childhood and my adulthood really, when I was younger and middle aged, doing what was expected of me, um, what was right, what was proper, know your place, all that sort of thing. That's how I was brought up. Obligations, duty, and guilt came into it a lot. It wasn't until I was considerably older that I realized that what I was actually doing was allowing other people to tell me how I should live my life, what I should do, what they expected of me. And so it wasn't until, my goodness, it's been not that long, only a few years really, where I have really allowed my heart center to take the lead. And it would have to have been, it started for me when I walked through that doorway at the end of the Blue Star healing course. Once I walked through that door, I then thought and felt that there has got to be something more to this. And so I went exploring and I went trialing. Before that, I allowed other people to show me the ways. Yes, we all know that people open doorways for you, and it's your role to walk through that door or not. It's your choice. But once you do walk through that doorway, you have an opportunity to then choose something different, to explore, to see what feels right. And I think all starseed know that they're here for something more, and they want to do the best that they possibly can in the time that they have available to them. And in time, they will choose the heart to lead them, to guide them, rather than what somebody else might say. I mean, everybody tries different things, but until you find what actually feels right for you, and everybody's different, then you can then explore that more fully and go with that. And that is a heart-based choice.
So let me ask this. When you started living your life from your heart,
Mm.
what was the first thing that you noticed different that amazed you or surprised you?
Probably how my interactions with other people changed. So I was more discerning about who I spent my time with, who I didn't, what I read, what I didn't, what I listened to, what I didn't. And so that things became more about what feels right for me. And it gave me more of an opportunity, and I felt I was able to, and in a way allowed to, actually go with that. There was no little voice saying, it's not what you should be doing.
Any any regrets?
No, none whatsoever. None, none, absolutely none. And it doesn't matter to me any longer if people accept me for who I am.
Now for you, once you really embraced following the heart and making that the core of your beingness and your pathway, what would you say has been the biggest change you've noticed in your life?
There's been a few, excuse me, a few changes. I feel much stronger within myself. I feel truer. It may sound a bit funny because I'm not really that tall, but I feel taller. I'm more able to go, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm also feel energy from other people, so that there are some people now who are part of my circle of what I call more than friends, because they've almost become family, because they are like-minded and like-hearted, and that they too live their lives from their heart. And so for me, my path now has become one of sharing. Um, it's that heart-based um, family grouping, I suppose. And so I go with what I feel and what I'm guided to do. And that's not somebody telling me, it's what I'm telling myself, and also what spirit is telling me.
You know, as most everyone knows, um, very soon now, I am coming up to the anniversary of my stroke.
Mm.
And it's been a very challenging time having to go through everything that's been in part of the recovery and everything else. But having said what you just did, one thing I wanted to say was when I had my stroke, the interesting thing is that most people who have a stroke, who have what they term physical deficits, because I was completely paralyzed on my left side. I had to relearn how to walk from scratch, everything. And although I have a little movement now in my left arm and hand, it still doesn't work much at present. That will change in time. But I realized I had to follow, if I hadn't been connected to my heart, if I hadn't been following my heart, I never would have left America and came to Australia to be with Janice. But it also enabled me to recover from my stroke. I was shocked one day because initially, when I had my stroke, I didn't get angry, I didn't get upset, but I was laying in the hospital bed. I couldn't move, I couldn't get up, I couldn't dress myself, I couldn't go to the toilet on my own, none of those things. And my first thought, of course, believe it or not, wasn't about me. It was about Janice.
Mm.
And it was like, there's no way in hell I'm going to have her for the rest of our lives be my carer. So I thought I would end up in a nursing home or a facility, and that's where I would live the rest of my life. And then, of course, on day 4, a lovely angel named Sarah Rhiannon came and got me and took me to the physio gym. She was a physiotherapist. And she had me sit on what they call a plinth. It's like a bed that goes up and down that they do
Mhm.
treatments on. And she transferred me from the wheelchair to that. And she noticed that I could sit perfectly balanced. So her and a couple of other physios helped me to stand up. And our eyes locked. And she said, "You're going to be a walker." And I said, "Okay, anything you tell me to do, I'll do." And because I was so much in my heart, even though I had been completely spiritually, I had been completely taken offline.
Mm.
I wasn't I wasn't able to channel, I wasn't able to connect. I knew that they were around because I could feel them around, like the guys upstairs, but it was like I had been completely disconnected. And one day, a neurology doctor came into my room and we started talking. She goes, "Are you aware of the fact that you're the superstar of this ward?"
Mhm.
And I was very confused and I said, "What do you mean, superstar?" She goes, "You're the only patient in this entire ward that never says no." I was able to transmute all of that. I was able to do everything that I've done and get my life back because of my heart connection.
Yeah.
And because of that, I also discovered that a being named Mine Shalem, who's from the High Council of Source, came to me before my incarnation and requested that I go through this. So it was planned before without my knowledge. So I wasn't conscious of that being organized or anything else, which we wouldn't have been anyway. But you see, my point to my story is very simple, and it's your story as well. In order to traverse this life, this incarnation, what we need to do, the only way to do that is through the heart.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that you acquiesce to everyone else. It doesn't mean that you don't speak your truth. It doesn't mean that you don't take shit from people. But what it
Mm.
means is you everything you say, everything you do, every breadcrumb you follow should be through the heart.
Absolutely. And once the heart has decided that that's your direction and that's your path, then it's the intent behind that through will that will see you through it.
Agreed. So for someone who, let's say, has been rather mental and they're wanting to connect more with their heart, what would you say would be a good starting point?
If they're wanting to move more into their heart center rather than their mind,
Correct.
for a start, you have to realize that you probably won't be able to the first time. But it's a difficult journey to turn the mind off because the mind is like a raging elephant. It wants to be in charge all the time and it wants to be first. So it's about persistence and it is about consistency. So if you can, at some point each day, if possible, spend some quiet time, no distractions, just you, and breathe. Slow the rate of breathing down so that you move closer and closer to the heart center. If you do that consistently over a period of time before you realize it, you will actually have moved into the heart center, and all the distractions that are there around you, your phone, the, people, pets, whatever it might be, actually fade to the background so that you are actually with yourself. When I first started, I went and did a meditation course at a Buddhist center to learn how they do it. And it was quite interesting because we were told by our Buddhist teacher that to use something to distract the mind. And what they used initially in this course was a candle flame. By staring at the candle flame, your mind concentrated on that, which actually gave your heart a chance to step forward and the body to relax through breathing, slow breathing. And I tried that for a while and I found it wasn't right for me, so I went on to something else. But Ian, my husband, he used it for quite a while. And then he used to use steps by walking, imagining that he was walking down steps. So he was walking from his mind down to his heart center. Sometimes music can help, but it's that consistency. If you can find a period of time each day, even if you start off with 5 minutes and slowly increase it, you will get down into the heart center. And once you have reached that heart center, it's like the heart center enlarges so much, it actually fills you completely. And that's when the fun starts. That's when it gets really interesting once you've done that, because it's from the heart center that you find your connections to all sorts of things.
Very true. Very true. And for me, one of the first things that is required that you really need to do is let go of fear. There's a lot of people that have fear around feeling.
Hmm.
And it's like if you can embrace what you feel, that will open up the passageway to allow you to be able to connect more fully with your heart center. Well, is there anything else you'd like to share at this point on this topic?
I don't think so. I just wish everybody luck. And it's consistency that is the key.
Correct.
It's that perseverance. It took me a long time to do it, but once I did, that's where the miraculous happens.
Correct. All right. Well, thank you very much for spending a little bit of time with us.
My pleasure.
Um, I was actually referring to those listening,
Oh,
but I do appreciate the fact that you're taking some time out from your
mm,
pasta sauce making time to do
mhm.
this with me. And we hope that you find the discussion beneficial and helpful. Remember, you're not on this journey alone. We are always available for you. If there's any particular topics you'd like to listen to or have us discuss, feel free to email us on FNQSG7@gmail.com. And if you'd like to figure out a reading or a healing that you'd like to receive, email us on that as well. Much love and many blessings to all of you from FNQ Spiritual Group. Have a blessed day.
Right.